Yes, Sharon. No, I could see किसी का हाथ था and then okay. So I think there are no doubts. Then I will continue.
Sir,
Yes, yes,
Yes, sir.
mule infiltrate क्यों
You,
sterile क्यों रहता है?
sorry, क्या Sharon? I could not hear you. Your voice is cracking.
सर म्यूल जो है ना वो स्टेराइल क्यों रहता है?
Because see, it's genetic composition. It's not a one complete organism. So हम लोग का if you see from single cell to the complete individual, it is having a one complete उससे ना एक peculiar features. मतलब वो सेल से एक particular organism ही बनता है. ऐसा नहीं है कि मैं animal कोई भी let's say मैंने rat का सेल लिया and I can make a human being out of it. No, right? So उसका जो genetic composition होता है वो that way में रहता है. Now in case of let's say in human beings, so let's say starting from a baby developing, okay, so zygote बनता है, zygote का division होता है, as I told you yesterday, but it's all from a single cell. उसका जो genetic composition है that is all belong to one species, that is the human beings, right? Now in this case what happens, if you can see there are two different species are involved. It's donkey and a horse. So even though they are closely related, I can say in some aspects there are still some features which are not really compatible, and that's why it's not really helping them in reproduction. So the reproduction ability is not there in this particular organism because जो particular properties required होते हैं, like let's say development of gametes and all, वो properly इनका होता नहीं है, and that's why it is not possible to make them reproduce. So like people have
सर उसका
attempted.
क्रोमोसोम ऑड है, ऑड क्रोमोसोम नंबर ऑड रहते हैं.
Sorry.
सर म्यूल का क्रोमोसोम नंबर ऑड रहता है ना, तो उसकी
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Genetic composition. So when we talk about chromosome number, what is it? It is genetic composition. So it is, yeah, you right said is correctly. It's all because of genetics. उसका जो है वो, it's not like a complete one set. जैसा हम लोग का रहता है diploid रहता है in human beings. In some case in plants if you go tetraploid, in some case it's haploid. वैसे उनका नहीं होता है. It's like it's not a complete set basically. That's the problem. So because उनके पास let's say उनके वाला odd है, मतलब it is not having one complete set of chromosomes. As I mentioned कि there are few properties. So एक chromosome let's say उनके पास नहीं है या फिर it's not a complete set. It means there are few properties जो उनके पास होने चाहिए in order to reproduce, but वो उनके पास होते नहीं है, and that is the problem. They cannot reproduce. So अभी के लिए people actually are trying to like how can we attempt this kind of things कि हम लोग कर सकते हैं क्या वगैरह, but मतलब चालू है, but it's not that I can say कि मतलब वो successful होगा या नहीं होगा करके. Research is always on, so वो सब people are trying कि how can we incorporate this kind of characteristics, because every time तुम्हें interspecific hybridization करने से अच्छा अगर एक बार if he gets the reproduction ability, so that becomes more easy, right? कि मतलब उनका mating कराओ and then they can produce offspring. But now that is currently though we do not have such kind of option, and the reason is like उनका genetic compatibility उतना नहीं है. They are not having a complete set. It's like two different species, two different genetic compositions and all. So that's why they are not having this particular reproduction ability. Okay. Convince.
सर म्यूल इनफर्टाइल है तो हिन्नी भी स्टेराइल रहना चाहिए ना?
I think it is right. It is not. हिंदी मैंने इतना हिंदी के बारे में नहीं पढ़ा है, but I need to check it out.
सर म्यूल के पास 63 क्रोमोसोम है, तो हिन्नी के पास भी 63 आना चाहिए. तो
या तो हिंदी के पास कितना है? सॉरी मैंने हिंदी के बारे में नहीं पढ़ा. I just know
63. सर म्यूल के पास 63 आया तो हिन्नी के पास भी 63 आना चाहिए.
हाँ, तो हिंदी के पास कितना होता है?
63 होता है.
हाँ तो 63 होगा ना.
तो वो 63 है तो वो कैसा ऑड नंबर है तो नहीं डिवाइड कर पाएगा, तो वो भी स्टेराइल है ना.
I don't know about Hindi, Sharon, but I will read about you and I will let you know. About foremost, about mule I know, so I told you, but about Hindi I need to know. Like I need to read about it because Hindi में उल्टा रहता है, right? Mule में is like female horse and male donkey, I think, and Hindi में it's ulta. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, but I don't know much, but I will read about it and I will let you know in the next class. Okay, or you can just ping me and I can text you back whenever I get time. Okay.
और सर वर्कर बीज जो है वो रिप्रोड्यूस कर सकते हैं, मतलब गूगल में रीड किया था तो उसमें लिखा था कि वर्कर बीज जो है वो असेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन करके, फर्टिलाइज नहीं करके वो ड्रोन को बना सकते हैं, ऐसा लिखा था।
हाँ हाँ, तो एक्चुअली दैट इज व्हाट ना, फर्टिलाइजेशन नहीं होता है, सो एक्चुअली उसको हम लोग सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन नहीं, द टेक्नोलॉजी व्हिच वी कॉल इट इज कॉल्ड एज parthenogenesis. So there are two words you will read about, like you will study these things in your upcoming chapters or in a reproduction chapter in your 12th standard. So there are two terms called as parthenocarpy and parthenogenesis. Parthenocarpy is a term which is actually associated with the plant and their reproduction base, and parthenogenesis is the thing which is involved in the animal behavior. So in what happens in parthenogenesis, there is a no fertilization happening. Okay, what do I mean by fertilization? कि मेल एंड फीमेल गैमेट का फ्यूजन नहीं हो रहा है वहां पे. Okay, so that is possible in case of that is how it happens in case of worker bees, like in case of honey bees. So they can produce, but there is no fertilization involved. Now, how the drone develops and all that, I think we should go. If you could just wait, you will learn all these things in your 12th standard. So, abhi सब बताने से अच्छा, I think we should go stepwise. Okay, so you will get, if you get time, and I think there are always PDFs are available. Just read the first sex determination part from your 12th standard, chapter number 1. Okay, inheritance and variations, and you will get to know exactly how it happens. It's a complete different phenomenon we call as parthenogenesis. Okay, so I won't say they are so basically they are not producing it. See, it's a queen who is producing it, but then how can I explain it now? They are actually sterile. उनका काम नहीं है कि उनका काम है उनको nurture करना, उनका care करना. But then I don't know on from which source you have read it. Is it only Google का, only Wikipedia website or something like that? क्या था वो?
गूगल का
हाँ, Google पे भी, लेकिन when you search on Google, it's Google is what?
ऑक्सफोर्ड का कुछ।
Okay, okay, okay. I will read about this also and I will let you.
उसमें लिखा था कि फर्टिलाइजेशन से सिर्फ वर्कर बीज प्रोड्यूस होते हैं और फर्टिलाइजेशन नहीं होता है तो ड्रोन प्रोड्यूस होता है।
हाँ, exactly, ना, because drone is like, so that is what I'm trying to tell you. And what happens in that case? So even so, with fertilization, worker bees produce होते हैं, without fertilization drone. You said it very correctly, right? But all these things, production का काम कौन करता है? It is done by queen as far as I know. But now you are saying कि worker bees भी करते हैं, so I am थोड़ा skeptical about this statement. So I need to read and reconfirm it. तो मैं तुम्हें ऐसे ही नहीं confirm बोलूँगा कि right है करके. As far as I know, it's a queen which produces the two components. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, but I will let you know. So maybe I don't know, like people always try something new, so I will check it out and I will let you know. Okay, but for now what I can tell you, in case of honeybees, it's a queen which actually reproduces, and it produces the worker and the drones, and then the drones can again fertilize, like they can, the drones are actually haploid kind of things, and they actually again mate with the queen and they keep on reproducing. And in case of drone, what happens, the orgasm is so high that after a particular time, the moment they have a mating, after that the drone dies basically. So there are multiple such things. I don't want to go in reproduction part of the piece, but since you have asked, I'm just telling you this all things. So it's a continuous process. ऐसा नहीं कि एक ही drone रहेगा और वही सब काम करेगा. After every some time, the drone actually changes from the honeycomb. So it's a simple, I won't say simple, but a little bit complicated, and you will learn about all these things in your reproduction chapter. I'm very sure about that. Okay. For now, keep in mind that there is the term parthenogenesis, by which the honeybees actually reproduces. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else? So I need to tell you about the honey thing and about the worker bees ka reproduction ka thing, but I will let you know. Okay, in next class. Anything else?
No.
Great. So in last lecture, then I had told you something like we need to study and identify all these different kind of species and all things, and for that we actually follow taxonomical aids. Now, can someone tell me what is a taxonomy?
Classification of animals.
Yeah, so you are right, it's classification, but I would say not only classification, it's identification, their property studies and then classification. पहले वो लोग देखेंगे कि ओके कुछ नया स्पीसीज दिख रहा है, then they will find out कि उसका प्रॉपर्टीज क्या है, how it is, उसका मॉर्फोलॉजिकल फीचर्स क्या है, डिस्क्रिप्शन क्या है, वो देखेंगे, and then they will try to match it कि ओके जो पहले के कोई एनिमल्स है उसके साथ वो मैच हो रहा है या नहीं हो रहा है, and then they will finally classify it under a particular phyla, particular class, particular family, depending on the features that is shown. So that is a taxonomy. And I told you there are multiple ways people are doing this kind of studies. And since let's say I'm in Maharashtra and I want to study a plant which is there in a Himalaya. Now there are multiple restrictions on me. I cannot go because there are maybe some financial issues, some traveling issues, many things are there, right? Research is not like very easy thing. So we need to have something because of which I can study this kind of plant sitting in Maharashtra only. Okay, and for that these things like herbaria, botanical gardens, museums, and biodiversity parks actually helps. Okay. So let's start now. What all these things are actually. So the very first thing is a herbarium. What do you think? What is herbarium? मतलब ये ऐसा garden वगैरह कुछ रहता है क्या? Anyone knows any idea what is herbarium?
Plants है, shrubs रहते हैं.
Plants, sorry.
Herbs.
Yeah, herbs रहते हैं, ठीक है. But क्या ऐसी मतलब वो garden में लगा के रखते हैं क्या उसको? Is it like a garden or a balcony garden or a particular space dedicated कि यहाँ पे ये plant
Nursery
रहेगा?
जैसा.
Okay, so anyone else want to comment on this? Sharon is saying it's nursery.
Hello sir.
Huh?
Preserve करके रखते ना?
Yeah, Anuj is right. So basically it's not nursery, Sharon. When you say nursery kind of thing, it is more of botanical gardens. Okay. So now what Anuj said, that's correct. It is actually the way they actually preserve the plants. So you don't need a very big space to start a herbarium. A very small room can be enough for herbarium studies. Okay. So now what is herbarium? Herbarium is actually a term coined by a scientist or researcher, I can say, named Peyton de Tonfort, and he actually mentioned about this thing in his book named as Elements. Okay, I have highlighted these names purposely because sometimes they do ask such kind of questions. So do not ignore. Okay, I understand it's become difficult to memorize, but then at least read it properly. Okay, and it was actually started. They actually started the herbarium thing when the scientist known as Luca Guini, who is an Italian taxonomist and was working on different plants. Okay, so they found that this is the way जहाँ पे लोग क्या करते हैं herbarium में, let's say कोई भी plant है, I am going to let's say Sanjay Gandhi National Park now tomorrow, and I say oh there is some kind of plant over there which is kind of new plant. What will I do? I will give those plant का थोड़ा सा part, मतलब उसका लीफ, उसका फ्लावर्स कुछ रहेगा, उसका स्टेम का स्ट्रक्चर, इसका एक पर्टिकुलर पार्ट लेके आऊंगा, एंड देन आई विल ट्राई टू स्टडी दैट पर्टिकुलर प्लांट कि वो कौन से फैमिली को बिलोंग करता है, वो एंजियोस्पर्म है या जिम्नोस्पर्म है, उसको फ्रूट्स आता है या नहीं आता है तो कौन से साल में आता है, कौन से मंथ में आता है. All these things, all this kind of information is then studied. And then this kind of plant जो मैं लाया था उसको एक kind of notebook में, I am using the very simple book like word notebook, but it is actually a proper big album kind of thing. यहाँ पे हम लोग वो प्लांट को प्रॉपरली प्रिजर्व करते हैं और उसके बाजू में इसका सब इंफॉर्मेशन लिख के रखते हैं कि वो कहाँ पे मिला, किसने कलेक्ट किया था, कौन से टाइम पे कलेक्ट किया था, व्हाट आर द प्रॉपर्टीज एंड ऑल दिस थिंग्स आर एक्चुअली studied and written down in that particular book. Okay, so that's how whenever let's say now someone else again goes to that particular place, found the same plant, but he or she is not able to identify your plant कौन सा है, so they can now rather than doing the complete study again कि उसका properties क्या है ये वो, this takes quite a long time. What they can do, they can directly approach any herbarium which will be available in that particular city, they can give the sample and the herbarium में जो भी उनका रहते हैं researchers, they can just match कि जो उन्होंने plant दिया है, is that plant is matching with any of their recorded plant, and अगर उनके पास वो match हो गया, then they can directly give all the required information to the researcher in order to save their time. So that's how we actually study different plants. Even for that, say even animals are there, but animals we cannot preserve like the way we do for plants. What they do, they actually use a dried specimen. तो उसको सुखाते हैं, उसको प्रेस करते हैं और उसको पर्टिकुलर माउंट एक पेज पे माउंट करते हैं, ओके, so that it will not get degrade easily. उसको sometimes they actually put in a plastic cover and also that उसका डिग्रेडेशन इतना फास्ट ना हो. And then एक बार मैंने उसको स्टिक कर दिया वो पेज पे, then what they do, they write a date, the place of collection along with the classification, what are the properties, ecological peculiarities like peculiarities, characteristics of the plant, सब जो भी उसका known information है सब उस पे लिखा जाता है. Okay, even you must be knowing a simple plant can be known by different names. So Maharashtra में कुछ और बोलते हैं, गुजरात में कुछ और बोलते हैं, वेस्ट बंगाल में कुछ और बोलते हैं. So like that. So they even try to collect all the local names as well and keep a proper. So it is kind of a, I can say, database. Okay, they are trying to maintain and they are trying to give all the information. Now even most of the institute have actually started giving recording such kind of information in an online version. So you just need to go to their website and you will get all the information about such kind of plants. However, if you want to identify any unknown plant, you need to submit the sample. Unless and until you show them the sample, they will not be able to give you any kind of information. Okay, and then all this kind of information is given, and that's it's maintained for years and years. So you can see this image here. I think if you can identify the plant, क्या है, कौन सा plant है? देख के भी तुम लोग पहचान सकते हो. It's very common, right? I think सब जगह पे दिखता है.
हिबिस्कस.
Not really hibiscus.
सर ये एक फ्लावर का प्लांट है जिसका मुझे नाम नहीं पता बट मैंने देखा है.
हाँ, so basically in Marathi we call it as a gokarna. In Hindi I really don't know, but इसको इंग्लिश में कुछ तो पिजन विंग फ्लावर कुछ तो बोलते हैं. ओके, so it is very commonly used for like पूजा एंड ऑल. लोग मतलब अपने गार्डन में भी बहुत लगाते हैं.
ब्लू एंड व्हाइट कलर.
या ब्लू एंड व्हाइट कलर का आता है. एग्जैक्टली. So this is a typical that plant. Okay, and this is how actually they preserve it. So you can see it's kind of pressed, और you can see यहाँ पे उसका फ्लावर भी दिख रहा है, थोड़ा उसका लीफ भी दिख रहा है, यहाँ पे उसका एक बडिंग दिख रहा है पार्ट, स्मॉल बर्ड्स से स्टेम है. सो ऑल इट इज एक्चुअली मतलब जब उसको लाते हैं इस लैब में, इट इज एक्चुअली कट इन अ वे दैट everything will be available on the same page. So you don't need to, ऐसा नहीं कि हमने सिर्फ एक पत्ता और एक फूल लेके आए और हमने ऐड कर दिया. नो, नॉट लाइक दैट. You should have a proper way to get a plant so that you should understand कि okay उसके nodes कहाँ पे है, उसके internodes कहाँ पे है, and all these kinds of information is actually obtained. And you can see this particular stamp over here. So this is basically one college from Baramati. Okay, Pune. So this is Tuljaram Chaturchan College, which they are actually in, and you can see this is a label. So they actually have a botanical name, common name, उसका family, उसका uses, locality, और कुछ special remarks रहेगा तो वो. So all this kind of information is actually maintained, and this is called as a herbarium. So यहाँ पे एक plant का दिखा है, ऐसे लाखों हजारों plants का ये लोग maintain करके रखते हैं, and that can be actually used for different studies. इसका फायदा क्या है कि हम लोग को time बच जाता है. Now let's say I am working on some plant X. Before starting the plant का study, I can get all the information in my hand. उसका क्या properties है, कैसा है, and किसी ने पहले कुछ काम किया है या नहीं. All this kind of information can be obtained from such kind of preservatories, I can say. So it is called as herbarium. Okay. Even in Mumbai, we have a St. Xavier's. There is this Blatter herbarium. Okay, it's very famous, I would say, in Mumbai. अगर किसी को भी कुछ करना रहता है regarding botany, like regarding plants, people go to St. Xavier's and they have this botany department where they maintain this such kind of plants. So its name is Blatter herbarium. So if anyone interested, you can always go and check on it. Okay, so now that is all about कि यहाँ पे actually हम लोग उसको dry करके store करते हैं, right? So there are few things we cannot get information about. Let's say मैंने सैंपल ला के रखा तो मुझे सिर्फ उसका एक्सटर्नल फीचर्स दिख रहा है, लाइक उसका फ्लावर का कलर कौन सा है, लीफ का पैटर्न कैसा है, स्टेम कैसा, वो समझ रहा है मुझे, बट आई एम नॉट एबल टू एक्चुअली आइडेंटिफाई कि वो प्लांट जब वो when it's actually growing, when it's alive, exactly तब वो क्या करेगा, कैसे फीचर्स दिखाएगा. So for that thing, now we actually have a botanical gardens. So you will see many colleges also, even those who are having a good campus वगैरह. For example, Birla is having a very good campus, right? So even they actually have maintained different plants, and also they actually consider that like okay, a dedicated place is there जहाँ पे लोग actually maintain करते. I just gave an example of Birla, but that is not really a garden. But I'm trying to tell you that people have started this kind of initiative to prevent or protect the plants which are now getting extinct, basically. Okay. So now that's one of the such kind of initiative I can say is the botanical gardens. Okay, so what are botanical gardens? So these are the places where plants of different varieties are collected from different parts of the world. So जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि हिमालय में अगर कोई प्लांट ग्रो हो रहा है और मुझे मुंबई में काम करना है, जैसे कि मैं एक बार जाके उसको स्टडी करके आऊंगा, बट आई कैनॉट रियली गो 100 टाइम्स टू हिमालय जब जब मुझे उसकी जरूरत पड़ेगी, राइट? So I need to have something with me so that I can grow that same plant in Mumbai, so that मुझे 1000 बार या 100 बार हिमालय जाने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. So this is what happens in the botanical garden. We actually get a samples from all over the world, and then these particular plant samples are grown in a scientific and systematic way, in a in vivo manner. So this is very important two words, scientific and systematic. ऐसे हिला के डाल दिया और कर दिया नहीं चलेगा. Okay, there are different plants require different atmosphere, उसका environment वैसे होना चाहिए, soil requirements, water requirements, सब properly study करना पड़ता है, and only then only you can do this kind of things. Okay, once these plants are brought into this kind of places, they are labeled. Their label boards actually shows इसका scientific name, common name, उसका function मतलब उसका uses क्या है, वो सब इसमें लिखा रहता है. So one of the biggest banyan tree is there in Kolkata. It's an Indian botanical garden. Okay, so you can see it's around 255 years old tree, and it is around 1.5 hectare area में फैला हुआ है, around 3,000 उसका prop roots है. So what are prop roots? These are the hanging roots which you can see. These are called as prop roots. So this is one of the most large size I can say, and like I can say it's the most it's the oldest tree in India currently. Okay, and it is actually recorded in the Guinness World Record also कि अपने पास इतना पुराना banyan tree है. Okay, so this is just one example about the botanical garden, but there are multiple such examples. People actually have started growing the medicinal plants which are now getting extinct. There are different people, even the farmers have started now to get ashwagandha and all kind of plants. This actually commercialize भी कर सकते हैं बाद में. But whatever we talk in terms of herbarium, botanical gardens and all, these are not for commercialization, right? These are for mainly study purpose and the conservation point of view. Okay, so that's about the botanical garden. So yeah, this is about this Professor Luca Ghini, who just gave the idea about the herbarium. So you can read about him. This just the information about the Professor Luca Ghini. मतलब भी है कि उसने कहाँ पे चार्ट किया and all. Okay, so it's just for your information. Then the next type comes is a museums. I think सब लोगों ने म्यूजियम्स तो देखा ही रहेगा. I think मतलब मुंबई में अपने कौन सा म्यूजियम है? CST वाला, the biggest one, छत्रपति शिवाजी महाराज म्यूजियम, वस्तु संग्रहालय and something like that. So why we required museums? Tell me, क्यों चाहिए हम लोग को म्यूजियम? क्यों चाहिए हम लोग को म्यूजियम?
Understand the ancient things.
Yeah, so Girish is right. Understanding the ancient thing. तो जैसे कि इसने very correctly बोला, understanding the ancient thing. So for the understanding, I need something. ना so reference चाहिए. So that's what people do. वो लोग different fossils, different उसके residual parts जो कि बहुत पुराने रहते हैं उसको लाके रखते हैं for study purpose in such places, so that in future people would be having some kind of idea कि क्या था, कैसे था वगैरह. If you go, people you will also find some fossils about some animals जो अभी है भी नहीं, like they are completely extinct from the world, but still we are having the fossils and the bones and are available right now. So from that we can study क्योंकि वो animal कैसे होगा, क्या उसका प्रॉपर्टीज होगा, और अभी जो एनिमल्स अवेलेबल है उनके किसके साथ उसका मोस्ट क्लोज रिलेशन हो सकता है वगैरह, मतलब ऑल दिस थिंग्स आर एक्चुअली पॉसिबल. इवन accidentally, I think, I don't remember the exact year, but I think a year back this news has come. There was one plant which was completely extinct, and then surprisingly somewhere they found the seeds of that plant, and again they started planting it, and then now the plant is again regrowing. So all these kind of things can be possible अगर हम लोग के पास उसका proper management हो सके, and all this, for all this kind of proper management planning we require this kind of botanical gardens, zoological parks, museums and herbariums. Okay, one of the major reason for these things is the conservation of knowledge, I can say. And if you go for zoological parks and the botanical gardens, even for that say national parks which are available, like which are there in our country, why we required to have such kind of places? क्यों चाहिए हम लोग को? So the reason is conservation of biodiversity. Okay, so before going to the part of conservation of biodiversity, I would like to explain you first कि museum क्या होता है, which I am very much sure कि सबको पता ही है कि what are museums, but just for your information we will just go through it. Okay, so what are museums? Museums are the places where collection of the preserved plants and animal species are kept. Okay, these plants and animal specimens may be preserved. How? So as I mentioned, plant को तो कभी-कभी जैसे कि हर्बेरियम में हम लोग रखते हैं तो सिर्फ ऐसे ही प्रेस करके माउंट करके रख देते हैं, but if you want to preserve it for a very long purpose and it is very much precious sample, मतलब बहुत कम है, आप भी गया तो वापस कभी नहीं मिलने वाला, that kind of sample, then you have to preserve it very properly. Okay, so there are multiple methods which are available, but the most common one is a formalin treatment. So formalin is nothing but you all know formaldehyde, right? So formalin is nothing but a 10 to 40% formaldehyde. So ideally we call it 33% formaldehyde, but these people have given the range, so maybe there must be some reason कि for particular sample 10% use करना है, for particular sample maybe 40% use करना है. So that may be there, but then generally we prefer formalin treated samples. Okay, so just keep this in mind कि जब भी हम लोग formalin बोलते हैं, it is not exactly formaldehyde, however it is 10 to 40% of formaldehyde. Okay, so this is can be asked for the MCQ. Then these particular things are transferred to the transparent jars and then they are labeled. I think सब लोगों ने I don't think so. So okay, तुम लोग के schools में भी bio labs, मतलब schools में भी जो lab रहते हैं, science lab वगैरह, तुम लोग देखा रहेगा, there are always this kind of ऐसा bottles में some animals are kept, right? So जो आगे रहता है, या जो उसके आगे जो liquid रहता है, liquid fluid रहता है, what is that? That is nothing but the formaldehyde, okay, or formalin, which is actually helping to prevent the डिग्रेडेशन, तो उसका डिके ना हो जाए, वो सड़ ना जाए बेसिकली, बिकॉज़ हम लोग लिविंग एनिमल मतलब जब वो मर जाते हैं तो हम उनको स्टोर करते हैं, तो वो मर ना जाए, फॉर दैट से वी एक्चुअली नीड टू prevent their degradation, and that is why we actually store them in a formalin and they are well labeled. So you must see their cylindrical tubes रहता है, कुछ लोग bottles use करते हैं and they actually store such kind of things. Okay, even now this is possible कि अगर कोई insect रहेगा, कोई let's say सांप रहेगा, small things के लिए हम लोग कर सकते हैं formalin treatment. But let's say there are larger animals like birds and mammals, okay, जिनके हम लोग literally ऐसे बड़े-बड़े formalin में नहीं डाल के रख सकते. तो क्या करना है? So they are actually usually they go for the technique called as taxidermy. Okay, so please do not get confused between the two terms, taxidermy and taxonomy. Okay, taxonomy is the identification, description and classification of the species. However, taxidermy इसमें क्या होता है? It is a technique जहाँ पे the animals or the birds are actually stuffed and preserved. Stuffed with what? They actually use sawdust या फिर some kind of cotton like things, मतलब ऐसा उसमें भर के उसको प्रिजर्व किया जाता है. Okay, so you can see उसका outer structure जो रहता है, it is exactly same as what it looks. Okay, मतलब जैसे normal का वैसे दिखता है, पर उसके अंदर का सब निकाल के systems उसमें हम लोग लाइक सॉडस्ट या फिर कॉटन वगैरह भर के उसको प्रॉपरली मेंटेन करके. Okay, so that's what is called as stuffed and preserved. Okay, so this is there is nothing inside there. There is no chance of any kind of degradation and all. और जो उनका external properties रहता है, like उनका let's say feathers रहेगा, कुछ fur रहेगा, skin रहेगा, they actually coat it with some kind of chemicals which will protect their, which will prevent their degradation. So that is what called as taxidermy, and it is used for most of the birds and mammals like animals. Okay. And this kind of things you will see in most of the museums. So it is very common. Like I think even in schools and all, they keep this kind of कोई ऐसा eagle, कोई bird, pigeon वगैरह देखा रहेगा. तो how they maintain it? उसमें तो air ही रहता है formally. So actually they remove everything from inside. उसके अंदर वो लोग ये polymers या फिर sawdust भर देते हैं and they maintain it. Okay. That is now. This is all I talk about. Let's say reptiles या सांप और insect का बोला मैंने. But there are also the small animals, very small animals कि जो मतलब है, but then we actually cannot go for a very मतलब वो इतने भी बड़ी नहीं कि उन लोग को हम लोग ऐसे फॉर्मल ट्रीटमेंट करके रखेंगे या फिर स्टफ करके रखेंगे. That is not possible. Okay, so for this kind of animals or for this kind of organism, I would say there are other methods. So वो लोग ऐसे small boxes में उनका skeleton, उनका shells store करके रखते हैं. So that if anyone wants to know, okay, let's say example of prawns या फिर any kind of mollusca, shells, snails वगैरह, उनके जो shells रहते हैं, उनको study करने के लिए we can actually store them in a boxes which are actually meant to be such kind of storage. So उसमें एक particular chemical coating रहता है या फिर it is actually suitable for storage of such kind of things which include shells or small skeletons of the insects. Okay, and उनका purpose क्या है? As you all already, I think Girish has very correctly said कि understanding उनका क्या study. तो it is very, museums are more of like educational institutes के लिए, मतलब colleges के students, schools के students, they should know कि क्या है अपने पास, what are different kinds of animals, कैसे study करते हैं, ये सब के लिए. So they are actually more of towards academic purposes कि मतलब लोगों को aware करने के लिए, उनको और information देने के लिए about such kind of things कि जो easily available नहीं हो सकता. So for these purposes, these museums are very useful. In CST, we are actually having very big, I think, I don't know, like if you go further, 11, 12, actually they have this kind of educational trip kind of thing. So during this educational trip, Mumbai में रहोगे तो घूम फिर के वहीं पे लेके जाते हैं. So I hope you will get that chance before you complete your twice time. Okay. So this is but anyway, not from college. I think it's a better place to go and have a look. So अभी कभी घूमने जाने का मन किया, so that can be one thing you can always look for. Okay, so that is about the museum. Now there is two important things: zoological park and the botanical biological park. Okay. Now why do we need zoological parks? Do we have zoological park in Mumbai? अपने पास है क्या?
Yes.
कौन सा? कहाँ पे है? नाम भूल जाओ. कहाँ पे?
राजीव गांधी के.
हाँ, राजीव गांधी कहाँ पे? जूलॉजिकल पार्क कहाँ पे? अपने यहाँ पे जूलॉजिकल पार्क है. अरे यार ऐसा मत करो यार, इट इज अ वेरी फेमस प्लेस.
रानी बाग.
भाईकला.
हाँ, भाईका रानी की बात.
रानी पार्क.
Yeah. So that is a zoological park. Okay. So अभी अरे यार इतना तो ये था न्यूज़ में अभी बीच में जब उन लोगों ने वो पेंगुइन वगैरह लाया था वहाँ पे. So there was appreciation, there was criticism, a lot of things were there. Okay, we don't want to get into that, but I want to tell you, yeah, in Mumbai we do have a zoological parks, but why we require this kind of parks? क्यों चाहिए ऐसे? So basically, this is they can say a way for conservation of biodiversity. Now, what is biodiversity? I think you all understand what is biodiversity, right? There is a degree of variation. Like, it's not like कि Earth पे हम लोग इसी पे only human beings. No, there is a hell lot different organisms which are present on, like starting from a small ant, amoeba, microscopic, like bacteria, fungi, plants, in within animals, you know, there are 11 phyla, so Porifera से लेके the chordata तक variety of organisms are there. Okay, and it is not like कि इनका कुछ रोल है नहीं करके, it's not like कि okay अगर मैं ह्यूमन बीइंग हूँ, मुझे कुछ काम है तो मतलब I am surviving well, it doesn't mean कि बाकी species का कुछ रोल नहीं है. And that's what I think human beings are forgetting, and we are literally exploiting the nature. And as a consequence, I think then we all are sitting at home like the way now we are, because nature has its own way, right? It's always maintain the balance. There is always equilibrium. ऐसा नहीं है कि जैसा अपने ही घर का है तो जैसे कि हम लोग रहेंगे and we will exploit, right? So even though we are like as a human beings, we think that we are the superior most and we are not really answerable to others, like no one is, because we are the most evolved kind of species on earth. But then that is not the case. It is a kind of food chain. We are, it's a food wave, I would say first, and then I will go to the food chain. Okay, food wave मतलब क्या कि हम सब we are actually in a connection or in a network with each other. तो हम लोग कितना भी मतलब even if कोई बोले कि अरे मैं नॉन वेजिटेरियन हूँ and I don't care about chicken है या नहीं है and all kind of thing. Even if that is fine, one is veg, non-veg, but that one's life is actually getting affected because of the chicken. अब वो कैसा and all, I don't want to go in details, but you should actually read about these two words, food web and food chain, and then I think you will understand कि कैसे ये सब things are interlinked to each other. So now coming back to biodiversity, it is a degree of variation of a life in a form of ecosystem. Ecosystem मतलब it is an area or it is a space जहाँ पे living and non-living things are actually interacting with each other, starting from the very small bacteria to the very evolved animal, and then the way it interacts with the water, the climate in that particular condition, wind, solar energy, everything. So it is a interaction between the living and non-living things which actually constitutes a complete ecosystem. Okay, they may ask you to define ecosystem, so please note it down or just highlight it. Okay, why it is important to have a conservation of biodiversity? Because it maintains the ecological stability. ऐसा नहीं कि एक स्पीसीज निकल गया तो कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता, हमें क्या करना है, हम तो इवॉल्व स्पीसीज से गया नहीं. Each and every species on earth is equally important, और अगर एक भी अगर कुछ issue हो रहा है, there will be a ecological instability. So if you want to maintain the stability, we have to conserve the biodiversity. So see, even here we are becoming very selfish because we want to have a stable life. We are trying to conserve the biodiversity. But whatever the case is, the conservation is important. Okay, the extent of complexity and the density of a biodiversity can be regarded as a measure of a health of an ecosystem. So within an ecosystem, as I mentioned, कि मतलब it is the area जहाँ पे living and non-living things interact करते हैं. So कितना अच्छे से वो flourish हो रहा है, कितना अच्छे से वो जहाँ पे organisms रह रहे हैं. Based on that, we can say कि वो ecosystem is healthy or not. Okay, and we should have a healthy ecosystem because that will help to maintain the stability ultimately and the balance of a nature. Okay, but that is not happening. We can see everywhere we are just exploiting and exploiting. Why? How? Because all over the world, human beings most populated. Okay, so there is a population explosion. जैसे population बढ़ता है, demand for the food, water, shelter बढ़ जाता है. The moment the demand increases, we start to do over exploitation of the resources. The moment we start doing the over exploitation of the resources, क्या होगा, हम लोग जितना जरूरत है उससे ज्यादा लेना चालू करेंगे from nature, and that will then lead to the loss of biodiversity. Okay, and this initially it was at a very lower rate. Okay, ठीक है चल रहा था, but अभी जैसे जैसे वो बढ़ रहा है, the loss of biodiversity is at a very like you can say at a crucial point. So वो इतना ज्यादा हो रहा है कि now we have to start different initiatives. A very good example now from last 2-3 years, you can see every monsoon के time there is like this plantation camps and all. So they okay हम लोग का aim है कि हम लोग 10 लाख पेड़ लगाएंगे, 25 लाख पेड़ लगाएंगे kind of things, because now we require, अगर अभी नहीं लगवाए तो future will be very horrible. Okay, so for these things we require to do the like these all things are basically involved for the conservation of the biodiversity. Okay, तो हम लोग कैसे कंजर्व कर सकते हैं, जैसे कि मैंने एक वे बोला कि हम लोग प्लांटेशन वगैरह कर रहे हैं, बट देन देयर आर मल्टीपल अदर वेज व्हिच आर एक्चुअली वी आर ट्राइंग टू यूज. ओके, सो हाउ we can actually try to slow down the exploitation process कि हम लोग जितना जरूरत है उतना ही निकालेंगे, we will not do the over exploitation, or we can try to stop the exploitation, or we can find that alternative कि मतलब ठीक है जो अभी यूज करें उसको हम लोग कुछ alternative find करेंगे and can reverse the loss जो हमने already कर दिया है through natural habitat. Okay, as I mentioned, it is a interlink, we all are in a web, right? हम लोग सब एक दूसरे पे dependent रहते हैं, so and that is fine. Even the nature replenishes itself after a particular time, but the speed by which हम लोग उसको exploit कर रहे हैं, the nature is not really getting time to replenish itself, and that is why we are facing this kind of problems. Okay, so now we are trying to conserve it. There are two different approaches generally: in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. In case of in situ conservation, हम लोग क्या करते हैं? Let's say a particular जगह है, वहां पे बहुत सारे plants available है, there are many animals who are surviving happily. So now the government, what they will do, they will declare it as a national park. Let's say it is a national park, और जो animals वहां पे थे वो वहीं पे रहेंगे, and no one can enter in that territory without a formal permission. Okay, so such kind of things जहाँ पे हम लोग animals को उनके खुद के habitat में preserve, उनके खुद के habitat में protect करते हैं, that is called as a in situ conservation. On the other side, कभी कभी हम लोग को एनिमल्स को, प्लांट्स को दूसरी जगह पे ले जाना पड़ता है, so we try to shift them to some other places. Let's say in case of zoological park, तो हम लोग वहाँ पे लाके उनको रखते हैं, उनको अपने हम लोग खुद खाना खिलाते हैं, kind of things. So such kind of things which actually happens outside their native habitat is called as a ex situ conservation. Please note it down. In situ क्या होता है और ex situ. In situ मतलब उनके own habitat में भी protect है. Ex situ मतलब it is out of their native habitat. Now why does this particular loss of biodiversity matter? I think ये अब तक तुम लोगों को समझाया रहेगा कि क्यों matter करता है. Because for some people it's like simple. We always have this problem. There are two groups always. एक support करता है, एक oppose करता है. कुछ लोगों के लिए like छोड़ना मुझे क्या करना है kind of thing. But apart from like the simple arguments and the ethical issues what we actually propose, we have to understand it is not only the planet which is हम लोग ही रहेंगे kind of first thing. The moment even a single species get extinct from the earth, we have to pay for it, not immediately but definitely kabhi na kabhi in future. So if you want to know how these things are involved, you can actually read about, let's say example of the honeybees. Just because आज हम लोग honeybees के बारे में सुबह starting से बात कर रहे हैं. So honeybees, these are one of the finest. अभी कुछ लोग बोलेंगे अगर मैंने बोला कि honeybee extinct हो गया तो क्या होगा? What will happen if the honeybees get extinct? पूरे के पूरे तरह से निकल गए और क्या होगा?
सब pollination नहीं होगा.
Yeah, that is a very good point. So pollination नहीं होगा, and you should know about 90% of the most of the plants का pollination actually happens because of the honeybees. So अगर
Yes,
अभी तुम लोग bio people हो तो you actually I am very happy that you put up the point of pollination. But अगर मैं ऐसे normal किसी को बोल दूँ in a layman's way, people will say क्या अरे honey नहीं मिलेगा, honey नहीं मिलेगा तो क्या फर्क पड़ता है? I will not eat a honey. Why? It's not just about the honey, there are multiple other things which are behind it, and because of this lack of knowledge, people keep on exploiting the things. So you should actually, it's like कि अगर honey भी extinct हो गया, उसके बाद I think within few like I won't say few, but after a particular time span, even human beings will not be there, and that is the severity of the loss, I can say. So if you can go on YouTube and you can always check this kind of videos. What if the honeybee is extinct and all? I want you all to check that kind of videos, and you will get the severity कि मतलब honeybee जा रहा है, but उसका importance कितना है in our life. Okay, so that is something will explain you in itself. The video itself will explain you कि वो कितना important होता है as a ecosystem to survive on this particular planet. Okay, so and because of all this reason, now we have to do the conservation things. Okay, and few of such things are like zoological parks, botanical gardens, and biodiversity gardens and all. Okay, so let's now move towards the zoological parks. तो ये क्या होता है? As I already mentioned, it is very commonly known as a zoo. Okay, यहाँ पे सब लोग बहुत मस्त घूमने के लिए जाते हैं बिकॉज यू कैन सी मल्टीपल एनिमल्स वहाँ पे रखे रहते हैं एंड यू कैन ऑब्जर्व इट. ओके, सो हाउ व्हाट इज एक्चुअली zoo इज लाइक इट्स नॉट अ नेशनल पार्क जहाँ पे एनिमल्स आर एक्चुअली ओपन. इट्स एक्चुअली अ place जहाँ पे animals are kept in captivity. What is captivity? It's like a kind of, you know, there are cages basically. हर एक एनिमल का सेपरेट केज रहता है, उसके अंदर वो एनिमल रहता है. दे प्रोवाइड they eat water and food time to time and the animals survive, but the animal cannot really go out of that particular cage. Okay, so this is what happens in case of zoological parks. Okay, they are protected and care is taken to provide the conditions similar to the natural habitat, and this is called as a ex situ. Okay, so in case of in situ, what I said, it is a way जहाँ पे हम लोग animals को plants को protect करते हैं in their own natural habitat. However, in case of ex situ, we are actually protecting them out of their natural habitat, and that is called as a ex situ conservation. And ये तो एक ही क्योंकि उनको प्रोटेक्शन करना है वगैरह. Apart from that, even the naturalists, the researchers can study such kind of animals, उनका behavior क्या है. They actually visit the zoos time to time and try to get all the information from this kind of parks. Now there are different things like flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs, which are some other tools for maintaining the biodiversity record. जैसे हमने देखा था कि मतलब जैसे हर्बेरियम रहता है एक वन ऑफ द वे. Similarly, there is a flora, manuals, monographs and catalogs. Now what is flora? Flora is the plant life occurring in a particular area on time. So you will get to know about these two words, flora and fauna. So whenever I say flora, it's all related to plants. Whenever I say fauna, it's something related to animals. Okay, so these are the plants which are actually present in a particular area at a particular time. Okay, what is monograph? Monographs, manuals, this is like something that describes the information about a particular biological group, a particular species. उस तरह से information हम लोग को मिल जाता है. Okay, so manuals, again as I mentioned, it provides the information and keys about the identification of a species found in a particular area. So keys is a very important word. Now keys is what, because we will study about the keys in a next part of this particular chapter. So these are like keys, like kind of बोलते ना एक नोट पॉइंट्स कि ओके किसी का अगर दो सिंग है, दो बड़े कान है, the face is तो ऐसा मतलब उसका head is kind of narrow, चार पैर है, दूध देता है, ऐसा अगर मैंने कुछ प्रॉपर्टीज बोला. सो ऑब्वियसली अगर मैंने ऐसा कुछ डिस्क्रिप्शन दिया, एनीवन कैन से कि आई एम टॉकिंग इन टर्म्स ऑफ काउ, तो काउ होगा मतलब काउ या फिर बुल होगा. देन इफ आई से दूध दे रहा है तो कैन से ओके काउ, देन काउ का भी कैन से कि ओके इट कैन बी the one domestic cow or it can be a wild type of cow. There are multiple types. So this is how actually they maintain different features because of which we can actually identify a particular species in a particular area. Okay, so this kind of information you will get into monologues, manuals and the record which actually maintained by this kind of committees which are present, which are actually maintained by the government of India or even the state governments. Then comes the biodiversity parks. Okay, again the same kind of things. यहाँ पे हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? We are trying to maintain the biodiversity. Okay, so it is kind of ecological assemblage. मतलब एक particular area में हम लोग living, non-living some factors को ला के रख देंगे. It can be any barren area, मतलब जहाँ पे कुछ भी नहीं होता है, ऐसी जगह में हम लोग we will try to establish ecosystem at such kind of areas. Okay, so we will get some kind of living factors, non-living factors to such kind of barren landscape. Okay, and we'll allow them to like this survive together. This kind of self-sustaining communities. मतलब जो खुद वहाँ पे रह के they can establish themselves and they can form a complete ecosystem. And one of the examples they have given about the late Uttam Rao Patil Biodiversity Park, Gureghar, Mahabeshwar. Okay, I don't know if anyone of you have visited this place. I think he or she can give us more insight about exactly क्या है वहाँ पे. But what I can tell you right now कि when they talk about biodiversity park, ऐसे एक बड़ा सा barren area रहता है जहाँ पे हम लोग खुद start करते हैं कि okay we have to build up a ecosystem. Okay, so this is called a biodiversity park, and it is one of the one which they had talked about the Mahabaleshwar one. They have actually said that it's the best model for conservation of natural heritage in a urban landscape. मतलब we can actually follow such kind of things to maintain the biodiversity. As we were discussing from about 1 hour last कि herbarium, museums and all, तो क्यों है basically? क्यों चाहिए हम लोग को? क्यों हम लोग को biodiversity study करना है? Basically, a systematic classification of a living organism is helpful in understanding the interrelations. Okay, as I mentioned, okay, I am a human being, but I am actually interlinked with the honeybees as well. Not directly, but maybe indirectly. Okay, because honeybees will do the pollination. Pollination की वजह से क्या होगा? Crops का age बढ़ेगा, crops का मतलब खाना बनेगा, food आएगा तो food खाऊंगा तब जाके मैं जी सकता हूँ. So this kind of relations are always there. It's just one common I gave you about honeybees and the human beings, but there are so many, like I can't even count. There are many such kind of relations which are existing in a particular ecosystem, and that needs to be maintained. But the point there will be disturbance or interference in such kind of phenomena, something wrong will surely happen. So that's why it is important. So that's why they are saying, in order to understand this kind of interrelations between the organisms and they maintain the harmony, तो उनको साथ में रखने के लिए जो करता है, we need to study biodiversity. We need to know कि okay, कौन सा एनिमल कैसा है, उसका बिहेवियर कैसा है, वो किसको खाता है, वो किसको नहीं खाता है, उसका ईटिंग बिहेवियर कैसा है, उसका रहने का पैटर्न कैसे है, वो कौन से प्लांट्स के साथ ज्यादा कंफर्टेबल रहता है. All this kind of information is important, because if we do not keep such kind of data with us, it will be very difficult for us to identify and to conserve the biodiversity in the future. And I think conservation of biodiversity is one of the very important thing which will take a lead. Like I hope it will take a lead in coming years, because जरूरत है. अगर हमने नहीं किया, so there will be a huge issues we are going to face in the future. Okay, there are many such things which are actually many such kind of initiatives I can say कि जो actually चालू है, मतलब लोग कर रहे हैं, but it's not in a proper way. What they say, it should be systematic and scientifically correct. सिर्फ झाड़ लगाना is important नहीं है यार, हम लोग को उसका केयर करना भी उतना important है. Nowadays we can see people just claim कि यार मैंने 10,000 झाड़ लगाए, मैंने 500 झाड़ लगाए, whatever the claim is. But after that few weeks of span, what happens to that particular plant? मतलब okay, वो हो गया, मैंने उसको hype कर दिया, मतलब social media is all flooded with the photos of the 500 plants I have planted. सब जगह पे Insta, Facebook, Twitter, everywhere I'm just planting my things. But after 4 months, if I am not able to say कि okay, जो मैंने 500 लगाया है तो उसमें से 5 भी जिंदा है या नहीं है, I think it's of no use, right? So for that things, for this kind of things, actually we need to have a proper systematic management and planning, so that we can actually conserve a biodiversity in a better way. Okay, they have also talked about the scientist S.P. Agarkar. You must have heard about the Agarkar Research Institute, Pune, right? So it is one of the institute जहाँ पे agricultural related, plant related बहुत research होता है. So it is actually named after the scientist known as Dr. S.P. Agarkar, okay, who actually was the leading botanist from India, and he actually explored different biodiversities from the Western Ghats and different parts of actually India. And he's the one who actually came across a species of freshwater jellyfish. Okay, जो कि मतलब तब तक जब the time he reported, उससे पहले तक it was known that जो freshwater jellyfish उन्होंने report किया है, that was only found in Africa. So he was the first one who actually said, you know, it is also present in India, that in a freshwater. And उन्होंने अपना research भी then published किया था in the Nature in 1912. Just imagine, almost 110 years back. Okay, and there are many people who are actually involved. Like they have given the example of Dr. Anna Dell, who is the superintendent of the Indian Museum in Kolkata, who helped Dr. Agarkar in his future endeavors and career. So basically, whatever the case, but he has a very huge contribution towards the study of the biodiversity in India. Okay, and that's why the ARI in Pune, I mentioned now, Agarkar Research Institute is actually named after his name as an honor too. Okay, so that's about the Agarkar and about the. Then I also speak about the keys, like key thing. What is key? Key is a taxonomical aid used for classification of plants and animals. As I mentioned, कि मतलब these are few points. जैसे कि एक एनिमल है, उसको 2 सींग है, मैंने जैसे एक्सप्लेन किया, 4 पाँव है, long tail hai, it have a hump on its back. Such kind of features will be there, and now based on this kind of feature we actually can find out कि okay, what are the possible, what is the possibility कि ये animal ये family में belong करता रहेगा या फिर वो कौन सा animal होगा वो हम लोग actually identify कर सकते हैं. So they actually maintain the set of contrasting character जैसे मैंने बोला. Okay, few of them will get accepted, few of them will get rejected. Now based on what is actually getting accepted, they will take it. Okay, the statement in this particular key which is actually getting accepted is called as a lead. So based on the lead, now they will further analyze that कि ये जो animal है वो कहाँ पे belong करता है, क्या करता है, कैसा है, उसका nature क्या है. They will try to study all the things about this particular animal. But the keys which are actually provided is something which is very important because that will actually help you to understand in a better way कि आगे क्या करना है. Okay, so you cannot, it actually helps to reduce the waste of time basically, and we can do things more faster. Okay, so these keys are basically analytical in nature, and you will study more about all these things. This is very introductory chapter. That's what I was trying to tell you from yesterday. मतलब यहाँ पे ऐसा नहीं है कि तुम्हें कुछ बड़ा concept पढ़ना है या फिर बहुत कुछ नया जानना है. I think you all know there is a museum, there is a herbarium. मुझे तुम लोगों को नाम पता नहीं रहेगा तो उसको herbarium बोलते हैं. But you must be knowing कि okay, ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे प्लांट को प्रिजर्व करके रखते हैं, ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे एनिमल्स को प्रिजर्व करके रखते हैं, ऐसी जगह है जहाँ पे हम एक्चुअली प्लांट्स को ग्रो करते हैं फॉर कंजर्वेशन पैटर्न. You all know what is biodiversity. You all know what is conservation. Maybe तुम लोग को वो scientific terms पता नहीं रहेंगे at this moment, but I think a basic idea about all these things सबको पता ही होगा. So that's why it's not more of like I can say conceptual chapter, but more of like informative chapter. जहाँ पे तुम लोग को बहुत ज़्यादा information दिया है, and you need to know all these things for your understanding. बाकी किसी को पता है नहीं पता है, that doesn't matter, but what you know that I think matters a lot. And as a biologist ये अपना duty है that we always try to give information to others जो किसी को पता नहीं होता. So with this we are almost like, not almost, we are done with the chapter. If you are having any question you can ask me right now. Yeah.
सर वो डिग्रेड क्यों नहीं होता हर्बेरियम में जो?
Actually they मतलब वो किसी में तो उसको से जनरली जितना मुझे पता है, so one which I know they actually have some kind of chemical जिसको डिप करके उसको ये करते हैं. So it's not like कि वो कभी वो डिग्रेड नहीं होगा. It actually get degraded, but I think they keep on after some years वो वापस मतलब वो because they already have information they always can replace it with other sample. तो ऐसा कर सकते हैं. But then that is a simple way because you can do it in a smaller place also. मतलब even as I mentioned even colleges are now maintaining their own herbarium. So it's not like your degrade कभी नहीं होगा. It will get degraded after some time, but for temporary basis मतलब ठीक है 1 साल 4 साल 5 साल at least उतना time तो we can maintain it. After that if you feel your sample is degraded but you already have all the information about the sample, तुम कभी भी वापस जाके वो सेम जगह से वो सेम प्लांट लेके उसको वापस स्टिक कर सकते हो, which is actually a good habit. Like you actually keep on reporting such kind of things. So it's not like कि वो डिग्रेड कभी होगा ही नहीं. It will get degraded. And the things जैसे कि मैंने बोला कि म्यूजियम्स में होता है कि those are very very precious sample. मतलब एक बार अगर गया तो वापस मिलेगा या नहीं मिलेगा, we know they have no idea. So for such kind of things we actually go for very advanced kind of preservatives like formalins and all. यहाँ पे हम लोग उनको stuff करके या फिर formalin डाल के preserve करते हैं. Okay. In case of herbariums, after some time definitely it will get degraded.
Yes.
Yeah. Anything else?